Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Locked On webinar on the digital pre-listing kit, a feature that we launched late last year for our Locked On users. And over the last sort of 2 to 3 months, we've been getting some tremendous feedback, some absolute great testimonials on this actual feature, which we're going to sort of run through with how they're using it and the results they're getting. And we've been implementing some really, really cool new things into this that we're going to be showing you today. But for all the people that aren't Locked On users that haven't been using it, look, really thank you for coming along, giving us the time to show you. One of our proudest moments in Locked On is creating a tool like this and getting it out and seeing the response on it. We're learning a lot. We're building some really cool new stuff and putting it out there. And yeah, we're really excited about the feedback and the direction we're going. We've got Aaron Shiner here, director of Locked On, also a super coach. And a lot of you have probably had something to do with Aaron or used some of his products over the time. How are you, Aaron, today?
I'm doing really well. Thanks, Luke.
That's great, mate. That's great. So Aaron's going to be giving us a bit more of the sales coachy, I guess, training and speaking in regards to, the pre-list kit, how it's evolved, where it's at, how it can change your business. And really, I guess, more hitting home about this, selling them on you before you get there and how technology can actually have a big impact before you turn up to the presentation. So what you're looking at on the screen is obviously just a nice little quick snapshot of how it looks on the PC, the questionnaire on the phone. We're going to be taking you through a full live demo of how you set this up in Locked On, and then how we send that off into a test client, which will be myself. So if we jump onto on the next slide, the main concept of this is, how do you get to your potential sellers? How do you get them to sold on you before you've even met them? And we want to create a point of difference and get them pre-sold before you even turn up. Now, Aaron, take us through what you've been seeing out there in the industry, and especially a lot of Locked On users, like the old ways of the pre-list and how it's evolved through your training and through technology into the new ways of pre-list. Like, how are agents actually making a huge impact before they're even at the person's home?
Well, let's look at a couple of things. So first thing is, we all know that competing for listings has got more competitive. The bar has lifted. And I think we all know that there's 3 phases to securing a listing. Phase 1 is the pre-listing phase. Phase 2 is the actual presentation itself. And then phase 3 is that client nurture, appraisal, follow-up phase.
Definitely.
And I think a lot of the industry has put so much emphasis on the follow-up phase, because there's this inability to get people to say yes at the presentation. And what I see, and look, I have the opportunity to mentor, coach some of the best agents, agencies, networks in Australia. What we all seem to do leading into meeting an appraisal is, what's your name? Yep. What's your number? I'll see you tomorrow at 3. Then we proceed to send them a big box of information, and it's like, this is how we do our marketing, this is how we do that. And it's, there's a saying in this business, and that is, if you want to impress somebody, you make it complicated. If you want to help them, we keep it simple. And by sending them a big box of stuff, which genuinely overcomplicates things, we try and educate them. But education should actually occur when we're actually standing in front of that person, not beforehand. So when I look at this with some of the best people that I coach, the guys that are doing $1 million a quarter, the guys that are doing 70 sales or 70 transactions a quarter, this is the mission. The mission isn't to educate them before you get there. The mission is to pre-sell them on you. We only have one mission. This is the goal. I want that client, that potential seller, to feel like they know you, feel like they're connected to you, and feel like you are capable or qualified to be doing the business even before we meet. So how does that occur? And there's 2 ways we can do this. There's 2 ways we can scale our business. There's 2 ways we can become more successful. There's 2 ways we can become more productive. Way number 1 is through labor, which means we can run around, you hear the old ways of training, drop the pre-listing kit off within an hour, have all your marketing material. That's gone of the dinosaurs now. There's only so much labor we have in a day. So, and I think you all understand when I say labor and leverage. We've got 8 hours a day. How productive can we be with those 8 hours? Driving to and from these appointments and burning opportunities in cars isn't probably the best use of our labor. But how do we do these things and become more efficient or more effective or more productive? Through leverage. And this is where Locked On has done something that nobody else is doing in the CRM space. Like, we always see these, like proposal products pop up, but they're all independent. So you've got to use your CRM, then you've got to manually type it here again, and it just takes as much time. So we sort of streamline. How do you improve your labor? How do you improve your leverage? How do we have an impact? And I think this is the goal, right? How do I have an impact on somebody before I meet them? Because this is the mission. If they're meeting 3 agents, if that potential seller is meeting 3 agents, I want that potential seller to, when I walk through the door, think, oh, I'm seeing 3, but this guy or this girl is better. They've done things that are different. I feel like I'm connected. I know them a little bit more. And that is the goal, to get somebody pre-sold on you. And that means in a 100-meter running race, you may be starting on the 10-meter mark while everybody's starting at 0. And these things are designed just to give you those meter advantages. You may not necessarily win the race, but at least you had the head start. And I think that's all we're ever searching for. What are those 1%ers?
Definitely. That's a great sort of, explanation of, where it started. Like the pre-list thing, when I was entering the industry, was even itself very new, like making sure you're there within 40 minutes of the phone call, dropping off information, making sure that they had all these documents to read before you got there. Where it's now, it's like, well, I can do all this in 5 minutes straight after the phone call, send them an SMS and email, and they're looking at something digital, using technology, having all the information in front of them, very, very fast, as opposed to burning my labor hours in the day, or even having
leverage.
Well, exactly. And the labor could even be the extra cost of having the PA to make sure they're getting out there. I worked for someone who had 5 PAs, and like this would take away one of their core jobs, was to make sure that all the pre-list stuff was done. So you can look at this as a massive time saver, but it's something the agent can do very quickly themselves as well.
But it's a real point of difference. I think, we're all striving for a point of difference in the marketplace. And, my question to everybody watching right now, what is your point of difference? And that isn't a rhetorical question. I want you to think about it. And are you doing what everybody else is doing? And are you getting what everybody else is getting? Because all we're ever looking at is how do we make progress? We're not after perfection, we're after progress. And this is progress.
And it's still a lot of people do the old method of, getting something out to someone. So when you look at what we're about to present to you, you can start to say, well, this is a massive point of difference straight off the, starting gun, off the line, for you to stand out. So hopefully you all can see that and see how simple it is to use. For the people that have used Locked On in the pre-list, I'm sure you've had some amazing stories when we start talking about the questionnaires that come with it. But for the Locked On users that are here, from the feedback, we've been working with Aaron, been working with a few core agents that have had this for some time, and we've implemented a new video widget that sits right at the top of the actual pre-list. And Aaron's going to explain why that is so important. It's a really important sales technique. It's used in a lot of Aaron's sales methods himself, but he'll explain why this is important and why video is so powerful. And you'll see that new widget we've put. We've also had some great feedback, and this one popped up quite a lot from the start of the last few months, is that people like to send documents that are specifically done by their franchise or by their business that are important to a seller, or maybe important for a future seller to read. We now have the ability for you to add resources into this presentation, that it can be downloadable files, along with a lot of other improvements and cleanups in it. So without any further ado, we're going to launch into Locked On, and we're going to show you the whole pre-list system. Now, whilst I'm explaining it, Aaron's here as the sales theory behind why all this works. So I'll give you the technical side of it, and Aaron, you're going to give us the sales theory and the reason why it's all built. And a lot of this stuff we build, just so you all know, Aaron's a director, is directly come from him and all of the clients that he's working with. So he gets to experience a lot of what's working out there and what's not, and what would be the perfect solution. So we'll flick into our Locked On account now, which is my sample one. So this is Locked On for the people that haven't seen, and the people that are users, you'll know this quite well. But for our digital pre-list system, there's a 2-stage setup of this. The first thing is that we have a template, and the template is designed that if you're a user or a multi-user office, there is a certain structure to how your pre-list template will look. Now, obviously, you're a good performing agent. You're doing one appraisal a day, 2 appraisals a day. Every appraisal you do, you can customize that template to suit that person. And that's where we're going to get into really the nuts and bolts of it. But I want to show you a bit of the setup. A lot of this stuff is preset on the account. So it means, not when I say preset, it means you have to set it up once and it pulls that information directly. A big part of the pre-list is all presenting about the agent. So what's important about me? Where is my social links, my contact numbers, my photos? What's my bio? What's my awards? We store all of this in your My Details. So first of all, on any account you use or any system you use, you generally have to have a profile, and that's going to be your name, your email, your numbers. We collect your social links, and we have your profile images here. We then store the agent bio. This is a very, very unique thing to Locked On, which is transpired across a lot of the features we're building now. Things like agent profile sites, things like this pre-list that we're going to show you today. Here is where you give a heading to your agent bio, a short summary, and we allow you to customize your features. And features are more like, what awards? What's really important about you? Are you the #1 selling first national agent, as Aaron was for several years? Did you sell over 200 properties in 1999? You know, all of these things we could put in there using Aaron's stats, but these are all about you. And you can see I've got 6 here. You can have as many as you want, but ideally you want to have sort of 5 to 6.
I was going to say there's going to be a few Rate My Agent nominations in there.
Yeah, a few Rate My Agent awards. We've seen a lot of them. Then you link to your full profile. Now, if your profile isn't created with our Locked On profile sites, and that's a whole nother webinar we'll be doing soon, then you can use the one on your agency website, and you also have a link to your listings. I've just used my Locked On pages here, but here is the link to my video profile that will get used. And this is a really, really big part of the system. But Aaron's not going to explain the technology of it. He'll explain why video is so good when we get to show you that. So for every Locked On user, this is fluid. And what do I mean by that? It means that at any point of time in the day, you can come in here and go, I have a new heading. I won a new award. I want to change my bio. And as soon as you update this, bang, it updates every single visual piece of marketing that we are creating that goes out to your vendors. So tomorrow, you may want to change an award on your feature list. You may want to change your bio because you've got it now professionally written. You update this, it updates all of your pre-lists instantly. There is no going back and forth between another company, another developer.
Another
Can you change
login,
this?
another subscription,
login, another subscription, another cost,
another fee, another support ticket.
I hate these
things. It's a pain. Like, you just do it all from your control panel, and it just updates everything in the suite from all the touch points. You edit it once, it does it for everywhere.
Yeah. So this is me controlling it. And that's a little bit of a run through of how you set up that, which is a big part of the pre-list. Every user or agency inside the engine has what we call digital gateways. And the best way to explain this is client-facing products that Locked On's building. The first visual client-facing product is the pre-list system. Shortly coming soon will be the proposal system. This is where, as an office, we set up the digital pre-list settings of how we would like this to look. Now, I'm just going to move our heads up to the top left there, Aaron, so I can show people how they configure all the components of this pre-list. So the pre-list has a template, which is built by what we call components. In every component, you have options to change things. So in the header widget we're looking at, I can change our intro text. I'm able to move our logo and make that the dark logo or make that the colored logo. I can make it bigger. I can make it smaller. I can edit all certain things of the color of the background in here. We're not going to go into every little thing you can do. This is all in our training manuals and articles that we have on it. But these are what we call components. The next component, or what you would see on the web page, and remember this presents as a web page to the client, we're technically allowing you to build a beautiful web page, is the video. Now, Aaron, I don't want you to explain the importance of video here. We're going to do that on the actual property. But here is where I've got it defaulted to using my profile video. However, I can upload any custom video from YouTube and put that there for it to show. And that may be something you want to change per property.
Can I just say something there?
Yep.
I might want to make a custom video because I can say, hey, look, Aaron Shine here, absolutely delighted to be seeing you at ABC or XYZ or number 5 Skinner Street. And I can make my own unique
Personal
video each time, or I can have a more sort of generic pre-listing kit video for everybody.
And this is something that, Aaron, when we were designing and obviously implementing this came up quite a bit. Like, there is a difference, and I think this needs to be hit home pretty clear. There is a difference between an agent profile video, which is, hey, look at me, I'm a great agent, these are all the things I've done, some testimonials, as opposed to a specific video that is all about the pre-list. And if you just take I know some dialogue you were running over, Aaron, but the very first thing in an agent profile video is, hey, my name's Aaron Shiner, I work for Shiner First National. And then it goes on to about your awards and how good you are. But let's change that. You need a specific video. And we know that not a lot of agents have these, but put it on your list. It needs to be a video that says, hey, it's Luke here from LockedOn Real Estate. I'm extremely excited to be coming out and meeting you soon and to go through your property. See how the intro is completely different. The video is set up completely different. You can have a generic video that is built for a pre-list that is different to your agent profile. And that is very important to get. Now, as I said, we don't expect everyone to have that. For now, it will use your agent profile video because this is not an industry standard. I don't think I've seen ever an agent pre-list video yet. I know some of your clients are doing them, Aaron, but I haven't seen it as a mainstream thing yet. And it's going to work really well here.
And again, we're looking at the 1%ers and the points of difference. Yep. And, an agent profile video is meet the agent. Pre-listing kit video is what I'm going to do for you. They have a completely different goal attached to them. They have a completely different feel to them, because basically the pre-list video, as we get into it, will be all around what I'm going to help you achieve versus this is who I am, and get to know me a bit better.
Yeah, exactly right. And we'll touch on that again when we're in the actual property, because I really want to come back to the personalized video and how you can change that to a custom link that may be exactly a video you've made just for them. Yeah. So the second part goes into the agent bio, and the agent bio, it's just showing you a layout. Now, so in this layout, I can change how my awards look. I've got a little medallion there, but I might want to put a trophy. I can make them a different color. It's going to play my agent profile video. So here's where there's two different videos, guys. Now, for some of you, you're only going to have the one, but at the top is my intro video. At the bottom is my agent profile. So they do have the ability to watch two videos. They can view my current listings and view my full profile, which are all links set up on your agent profile under your My Details. So this is the layout of it, and you can change some settings on that. We then go into your recent sales, which is probably I would say one of the core things about this whole pre-list system. What have we sold that relates to you, the vendor? As a default, in your Locked On account, we pull the last 90, 30, 7 or 14 days, whatever you want to set up, of sales in your account. So that's going to load properties in there. When we get into the property side of it, I'll explain how you can flip that and say, well, Aaron, this pre-list relates to Mr. Shiner at 1 French Freeman's Road in Freeman's Reach. I'm going to put in here sales around Freeman's Road that we've made. So you can customize this to be specific or more of a general office. Here's all our sales.
I think let's use the words that I like: static and dynamic.
Static, yeah.
So
we can make it static.
We can make it dynamic. They can change every single opportunity, every appointment you meet, they can change to suit that client. So those just solds relate to that potential seller, and they're not just, generic, or here's all my last lot of sales from all areas. And then the potential seller sitting there will go, that's not in my area, I can't relate to that. It's not relevant. Versus it's dynamic. Oh, hang on, that's around the corner from me. So the information you're showing them is specific to them, which is very, very powerful. But again, in the past, you'd have to pay a bloody computer nerd. It would have taken you 3 weeks to do it, and it's just all too hard. Now it's literally a click of a button, and we're literally, we're spinning up custom sites in seconds that, each client is getting a unique experience for their needs, their property, their criteria. And in LockedOn's doing it all for you.
That's exactly right. And then we run into the next widget, which is the buyer match. So we calculate how many buyers your office has and how many match their property. And that's a very visual part of the presentation. Like we always say, we have buyers, and we're actually not going to hide behind the fact that based on your suburb, beds, bath and car, we'll tell you exactly how many we have that match that. Now that's going to get more accurate as we start to put prices on that and we narrow that down. But that is something you can choose to show or hide. Now, every one of these widgets, and this is the one example I'll use here, is you might say, our office doesn't want to use that component. You can actually turn it off. And you can see how quick and easy things are to turn off with a little eye option on or off. Now, we're going to leave everything on and show you on a property how you customize it. So this is how my resources and documents look. They're actual click downloadable PDFs or whatever document you upload. I then have my testimonials, and it will pick the last 4 that you've put into your office. So we store all your testimonials in Locked On now, and it will load the last 4, or as an office, you can set the best 4 you've got. It will have the heading, the text, and a video if you've got a video on it. We have what we call just a component here, which is more of like a feature set of the best 4 things about your office. So we've just got some examples here. which you can then change for your office, but it's generally what are the best 4 things about us, and you put some really good statistics there, awards you've won, average days on market, and then that's your office stats. And then we have your articles. We allow you to create articles that are hosted blogs that you can write, put into Locked On with images, headings, text, and then they can go into this particular pre-list. The great thing about articles is when you are dealing with specific vendors, take an investor to an owner occupied, there's going to be specific things that you may want them to read, as opposed to being an investor and selling an investment as to an owner occupied selling their first home. So the more articles, the more content you can get, the better you can tailor make that presentation or the pre-list to them with things that they should be reading. And at the bottom, we have the footer, and that generally doesn't change. You can change some colors on that.
Well, it does. The vendor's name will change every time.
Oh, sorry, the vendor name will change. Yeah, definitely looking forward to meeting you. Sorry, that always merges. But you always have this one turned on.
It's so cool. It's like having like a Word document with merge fields, except on a website, all from your CRM. You're not having to log into different things. It's just, whatever information, when you capture that information about the appraisal, you put it into, you create the contact or the client into the database, you put the property in, no more double handling, no more double entry. You can then generate an appraisal all from the same spot.
So I've just saved that and closed it. And I just want everyone to sort of understand that with our pre-list system, this is the longest part of the whole thing. It is setting up your template to look and feel the way you want. Now, once it's done, and that could be a 30, 45-minute process with our knowledge-based articles and you configuring how you want it to look exactly and work, you are now ready to start implementing this into a real life appraisal. So how does that look? Well, if we go into the client's database and I use myself as the client, and we're going to add a fake appraisal against me, we're not going to show you how to add a client, but if you look in my properties section here, it tells me what properties I own in the area. So I'm going to add a new property by going actions, link property, and we're going to add a fake property that I own. And that is going to be for number 17, Wardle Avenue in Catherine Hill Bay, and we'll make that a house, and we will add that. Adding the property against me, we're going to an appraisal, so I'm going to update this to appraised. Inside LockedOn's life cycle, which is the journey or the steps of a property, we are going into the appraisal and setting an appraisal date for Friday, and we're going to make this at 5 p.m. And we will save this. I'm going to lock in that time, and I can sync that into my calendar if I like. Here is the next step of the digital pre-list. At the bottom of your appraisal, once the date and time is booked in the future, you can enable the digital pre-list. Literally, let's just think about this. If your office template is set up and you love it and it has everything you want in it, you have hung up the phone with Aaron, you've put in the date and time of his property. You can preview based on your office settings. Everything will be configured and working as you need. So I haven't touched anything here. Last 30 days of sales. There's my bio, there's my testimonials. Yep. There's my 4 last testimonials. There's my infographic. There's my articles.
And then there's your names. Your names down the bottom have merged in with Natalie and Luke. Up the top, Natalie and Luke. You put in the appraisal time. It automatically merges everything in.
So that is literally a phone call to a hang up to an email this to Luke, to an SMS this to Luke and Natalie, no longer than 15 seconds if you use your standard office settings. Now, obviously, you want to try and customize and make the experience personalized for as many people as you can. Okay, and you pick and choose your vendors that you're going to do this for. Some will just need the general, some are going to get more personalized. Let me walk you through some of the personalizations here. First of all, I want to show you one of the new features. For this particular pre-list that we've done, I want to go into the information, into my documents, and there are 3 standard documents I want them to read as they can see to download. It's just going to help them when selling their home. So if I upload some files here, I pick these files from my desktop and I've just created some fake ones here. And that's going to be a market report on the general area I know they're selling in, tips for selling, and our top trades. They may be thinking of doing some updates to their home, and that's what that PDF explains. These are all fake, so I'm not going to open them. They're just different things, but that gives you an example of the file name and what the vendor will be able to read. For me to flag this on the pre-list, I now turn on the flag that I want this available in my pre-list. If I don't want it there on my pre-list anymore, I remove it. That's how instant the site updates. So now that these are on the pre-list, that is all now set up in the lifecycle appraisal, and we can preview the kit. And now we're going to see that this updates instantly with a whole new component, resources, that wasn't there before. There's the 3 things I want them to download and have a read and save. And whether they sell with me or not, these are going to be good help to them. You can see how instant that is. That's the first thing I want you to experience. The second thing is now I customize some of my core components about this by using the editor, which is the exact same editor for the office, but it is specific to this property. So we're not touching any of the office templates. If you're
So just think of it as the master template. Just think of it like this. The one we set up once is the master template, and that's how we want it for moving forwards. But now this is Luke's property, and I just want to basically make some changes to Luke's experience. So we've got the master experience and then the personalized, the one-off experience.
Yep. Everything I showed you before, you have the power to edit for this personalized experience for Luke and Natalie. So I can change my intro text. I can change the colors, make the logo bigger. There's so many little fancy things you can do each side, each one. This is the big one. So if I was going to, which is going to show my agent profile video, because that's what I've set as the default. If I was going to use my phone, do a recording, make a real personalized message for Luke and Natalie about their property and thank you for the opportunity, I can then hit the custom option and copy and paste the YouTube link once it's uploaded as a private video to my YouTube channel. And that will sit here and render perfectly for them. So you are creating a custom video is going to take a little bit longer, but kind of explain the psychology around that, Aaron. I know you use it in a lot of your sales techniques and speaking to clients and proposals, and take real estate sales out of this. Any sales, this works.
Sales. It's not real estate. It's sales.
Yeah, the conversion on personalized videos is crazy. So let's just talk about the psychology here, because an agent taking an extra 5 minutes or 10 minutes to do a nice video, save it to their YouTube as private, because you save it as a private video that only people.
It's basically you save it as unlisted, so only the person with that link can view it, which is in this example.
And then you paste it right there. Yeah, exactly right. So the psychology around that, Aaron, just bring us up to speed with that.
Okay, so look, the reality is, and I'm not going to throw heaps of stats out because I don't know what's true and what's not true, but this is what I know. The amount of viewership on video every year is increasing. The internet is moving more and more towards video. You look at it, there's literally social networking platforms now that are literally just full video, nothing else. So on a video, people can feel your energy, they can hear your tone, they get a much better sense of who you are on video than they do on text. There's a saying in this business, your energy introduces you before your handshake. And a video really allows for that to take place before you even meet. They can form decisions on, I like you, I don't like you, and obviously they like you. But for me, a video is the thing that they're going to watch, because you think about it. Some people, regardless if it's a physical pre-listing kit or it's a digital pre-listing kit, some people are going to read it, some people aren't. But the overwhelming majority
will watch the video.
Will watch because it's easy. And this is where society is going. If it's easy, we do it. And if it's not easy, we don't. But the best thing about, we might not all be Rhodes scholars, and we might not all be great at literature, but we can really express ourselves in words. So I really like the concept of, hi, it's Aaron here from ABC Real Estate. And first and foremost, I'd like to introduce myself. I'm really looking forward to meeting with you shortly. Selecting an agent is a tough choice, and I get it. There's commercial decisions out there. You've got to pick who's right for you. But here's just a couple of little reasons why I think I'm the best person for the job. You can list through them. So anyway, my name is Aaron Shiner. I'm looking forward to seeing you soon. Bye for now, whatever. That's a very poor example of what that video looks like.
I get it, yeah.
But you get the concept, right? I think those types of videos allow you to have a deeper impact on that person than, oh yeah, they sent me a big box of rubbish and I didn't even look at it. I've seen you, I know what you look like when you're walking through the door now. And I can tell you, even in my own personal business, even from my coaching aspect, so and this isn't private knowledge or private information, but so far this year I've got 336 coaching sessions booked for the year. Last year I did 426 total. So, and you go, well, what's changed? I've introduced more video into my so if someone's thinking about doing coaching, here's a video of what we're going to cover. In the proposal afterwards, here's a video of these are the things that we're going to do. And the more I've used video in my own personal business, the more it's growing. And then it's like, well, because I'll be transparent as an agent, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, when I was just actively full-time listing and selling, this wasn't really a thing. And it's only become more and more so. So now I've grabbed my top coaching clients. Hey, have you thought about doing this? The guys and girls that are comfortable with video, and they're like, it's having an impact. People are seeing it. They're getting pre-sold on me. So I would encourage everybody, regardless if you use Locked On or not, you go away from this. All you take away from this coaching session is develop a pre-listing video. It will help your business irrespective of what else we show you.
And obviously the technology allows it to be slick and it allows it to be clean, and we got other things behind it. But yeah, that's a really, really good takeaway from today. So put that one down. Now I just want to just take 30 seconds just to say that, like, creating a video, it's not hard. Like, you can obviously see I'm just using Zoom, but I've got a nice background. I've literally got a $50 light, and I don't have to use my headset, but you know, an agent just sitting at their computer can literally create something beautiful that looks great. You can get across a message and upload it within 5 minutes and have it into this system. So, you know, do a little bit of a setup and you can really get some outstanding results with it.
I feel like you've outdone me, Luke, because I have no background, no lighting, and no headset.
Yeah, I'm going to send you a little package after this.
I don't want
for our LockedOn webinars.
I actually do have a lot of what you just said, and I choose to use none of it. But look, I'm working. For those of you who didn't join us before, I am working from home. I am stranded. All the bridges are shut. I'll be here for the next week. Last time, even after the water levels lowered, it basically took all the roads away. They had to rebuild half the roads. Like, they literally washed the roads away. So I can't wait to see what's happened this time around. So I think I'll be doing a few more Zoom sessions in the next week.
I think so. So we move down to the next part, as the agent bio. And literally, this is one thing that's always preset, will always look good. We'll pull in your information. This is the big one, the kicker. So the recent sales will give you that static list of the last 90 days, which you can see I have preset. So my office, or me as a single user, last 90 days of exchanges will show here in a nice carousel. Now, being specific to Luke and Natalie, I know that I've sold properties in their street. They may not be in the last 90 days, or maybe in the last 12, 18 months, but I'm actually going to sit there and personalize this to their sale. And I start to think, well, what did I sell in Skinner's Road? I sold that one. And I know it's a different address, but just bear with me. I'm just searching Skinner's, and there's a few other properties that I have there. I can go through and start to search the properties that I have sold around them and select those. Now, I've got a database that has some nice photos in it, so I'm just searching down here and just grabbing some that are listed. You're actually allowed to pick as many as you want in here. Search the address, pick what you need, and then start to drop more of the properties into this. And I'll just put 4 in there, trying to grab ones that are listed or sold. I've got some nice images. So that shows you the flexibility you have. You know, in your agency, you may not be the agent that sold it, but you know their sales around them. How do you make it more personalized? Make it relevant information to them. Okay, so that's one area where it can be really, really specific. I want to show you this when we're turning on and off something. So if I did an appraisal and it was out of my area, I got called in to see Luke and Nat, and they're not really an area that I sell too much. Now, my buyer match database is not going to be a great tool for them to see. You know, I might have 5,000 buyers, and then it says, we currently have 2 matching your property. I don't want them to see that. You know, that's something I'm going to talk to them and you know, try and sell the benefits of using us, and, you know, how we can work with buyers.
We're talking about our greater marketing plan to attract, not the buyers we've got on.
Exactly. So I turn that off, and you can see how quick that is. So that's specific. I'm going to leave that off, but I don't want them to see that. So the buyer match is gone. We've got the resources that I've showed you. I'm going to leave that on. Then we have the testimonials, and as default, it loads the last 4. But I know, and I don't have many, but you would know, but I know some of those sold properties at the top, I've got testimonials from those vendors. So I'm going to actually pick the 4 that are close to their home, and luck would have it that they know 2 of these people.
Well, yeah, like these are now testimonials relative, or that relate more directly to that area or that property.
And they're in their street or streets around it. That's what I'm trying to really hit home, is that there's probably a high chance that they knew John and Sally that sold the property or the home with you down the road 6 months ago. They see a video of them or a testimonial from them, that just builds connection straight away. Oh, that's right, they sold their property, and look at, they love them. So that's another really powerful thing. Video again here works extremely well. If you can get testimonial videos, upload them on YouTube, you can store them on your testimonials. I'll show you how it looks when we show you the presentation. So here's our infographic. Generally, this is an office thing and it's all set up, but you can change it to be specific to this property if you want. And just an example of that, over 35 years of real estate experience, I could just put in here, I have sold every house in your street at least once. You could be really specific if you were so confident on how well you were in that area, the number one agent in your street. So little things that they just go, wow, it's actually, I've sold all the
I've
homes in
sold
your
10
street.
houses in your street in the last 6 months. Yeah.
Exactly. So be fun with it. Otherwise, just use the details you've got from the office one. And then the articles, well, I can change them, but I know my 3 default ones are really good common ones to use. But if this was an investor, I may change this to there's an end of financial year investors time to review their property portfolio. That's really about investors and a good article on that. But I'm not going to change them, but you can see how you can. And then the footer is at the bottom. So we finished customizing. We showed you that in a process, literally doing a pretty in-depth tutorial, going off on different tangents. And that was probably a 12, 15 minute sort of how we customize for a property. Think of that as an agent. You've just got this phone call, you've hung up, you've spent 10 minutes actually making this really good and detailed for them. You preview this before you send it so you can see exactly what that page is going to look like. You're happy with it. There's the videos, how cool that looks. So watch the videos of the testimonials overlaid on the screen and your infographic, and then the articles they can click and it opens up to our fully locked on hosted blog pages. Everything's derived from Locked On here, is instantly live and updated. Once you're happy with that, you then email this to your vendor and you SMS it to your vendor. I'm going to show you what this template looks like in a second. But here's one thing that we didn't really hit home with, which we're going to go into a bit of detail now and then show you the email and how it works, is in the pre-listing kit. The most important part to it is this questionnaire. These questions have been derived by Aaron, the agents that he works with, and we didn't want to have hundreds of questions on here. We just want to really get to the point of what's important to them and want them to give us this information before we get out there, because this is drastically going to change your approach or your agenda in your appraisal when you go out there. So walk us through these questions that we're currently seeing. And this is the huge part of the pre-list.
Yeah. So what a lot of agents, and before I get into this, there are some questions being asked. So we will come back and answer a lot of those questions.
Yeah, at the end.
So we aren't ignoring them. We will come back to them. So I'm just acknowledging that. But the pre-listing questionnaire, typically, I think, as an industry, we don't do a great job with it. Like best practice would tell us we should be doing it over the phone. We should be, going a little bit deeper dive over the phone. But for whatever reason, we get busy, we forget what the questions are. What's that saying? Sometimes we don't always do what we know we should. So this is like that fail-safe mechanism. So we're still asking these questions, and because typically when we go in and present to a listing presentation, we present about the things we think keyword
this is the change
the client wants to know. So we go in there and we talk about marketing because we think that's what they want to know, or we talk about fees because that's what we think they want to know. Well, this is a questionnaire that, instead of just shooting from the hip on what we think they want to know, this is the questionnaire that allows them to tell us what's important. So basically, the client, look, there's going to be a percentage of clients that fill it in, and there'll be a percentage of clients that don't fill it in. The reality is this: for the clients who don't fill it in, go in there and do what you were going to do anyway. For the clients that do fill it in, they are basically giving you a really clear roadmap and a clear guide on what they deem is valuable and important. So we ask, what influenced you to buy the property? Well, that's an important question because, well, that's how we're probably going to establish value. Was it a good first home? Did it have amazing views? Because these are the things we want to know. What are the best things about your home? So again, what are the things that we might not necessarily know from doing the tour? And you might say, well, the tree out the back, in the summer, the sun sets and I can read a book underneath. That's things that I won't get from that inspection. And regardless, it shows a level of empathy, which I think our industry really isn't renowned for, actually caring, listening, and hearing what the client has to say. But then number 3 is really important. This is basically allowing the seller to tell you what's important to them so then you can present accordingly. If they're sort of valuing in, what are the three most important things. Well, they're the things that you put priority around.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean you don't talk about anything else. Just means you put a lot more emphasis on your points of difference around this part. And then number 4, it just sort of works towards a time frame. With when are you selling your home, and it gives you a range. It gives you an idea: are they short range opportunity or are they a long range opportunity? Ever before you get through the door.
And can I just bring up one thing here? And I know you've talked about this in your training. I've come with you recently to a training session you did with the LockedOn office. There is this hesitation for people, more and more with technology and how we can SMS, I think, change this dramatically, is to answer these questions on the phone is going to be a lot more difficult than having it on a form or on a phone where they can just type in what they want and select what they want and do it without, confrontation, I guess, that feeling of confrontation, or like, oh no, I've got to go into this, or give them some things that I didn't really want to do on the phone. I didn't want him to ask me these questions. I just wanted an appraisal. It's that takes that barrier away of feeling uncomfortable. I can personally say that some of the screenshots that agents have sent me from people filling in these forms are just things they learnt about the person and the property before they got there, were things they never, ever thought they would get to know. You've got some people writing 2 to 3 paragraphs in these questions at the top, and they're basically writing a full detailed realestate.com, domain.com advert for you, which is better than what you would come up. Some of the things we've had in there are just ridiculous. So you are going to get those people like school teachers that are going to answer these things methodically and give you some huge insights into your presentation. So I can't stress how important this is. And then that barrier it takes away, and the freedom for them just to answer it at their own pace, is giving our agents a really, really good, we gave you a bit of a head start, with the pre-list going to them. This gives you another few meters in that sprint. Knowing how to set up your meeting agenda through all of this and what to talk about is going to give you that extra lead for sure. So that's the questionnaire. And the one thing we haven't talked about is the triggers on this. Every time I've sent this
is probably the most important part.
I've emailed this to myself and to myself as an SMS. If I open that SMS and click the link, if I open the email and click the link, it sends an alert to, let's pretend Aaron's the agent. It will send an instant alert to Aaron at 11 o'clock tonight when I get a chance to open it, saying your owner, Luke and Natalie Newton, is now looking at their pre-list. As soon as I fill in the questions, it sends him an alert saying your owners, Luke and Natalie Newton, have filled in the questionnaire, and it will email him my answers. So if we jump into my email, and I'm going to open up the email that has been sent to the actual vendor, your appraisal, and you can see here that this is the intro email. Now, this is a template we give you. I don't want to read through it, but it's just saying we're looking forward to meeting you. Please view the information pack we've created specifically for you. And as they click this button, it then gets opened up. This is them experiencing it on their phone or on their PC. So we're looking forward to seeing you on Friday, the 4th of March. Complete the questionnaire or begin your experience and add this to your calendar. Some really good things above the fold. We'll get them to go into the questionnaire. I'm not going to write the same responses I had before, but we'll put test 1, test 2, and we'll pick price, marketing, and your negotiation skills. And we're thinking of selling in a week, and I'll hit submit. Look at this. Cool confetti. Thanks for filling in the answers. And that loads down with your actual colors of your office. That was the colors of my office. They then go back to the presentation and they see the first video. So the first video, we're looking really forward to coming out and seeing you, the specific one for the pre-list. They go into your agent bio, the recent sales that relate to them, the resources I want them to see, the testimonials and the property addresses, and the ability to watch those videos. You look very impressed, Aaron. You're just like blown away by it. I can see you haven't seen some of the new stuff. And then you've got your infographic, and then you've got the latest articles that they can read. So the 3 articles we think that relate to them. Again, if they click those, opens it up in a new tab.
You know what I was actually thinking, Luke? I was actually thinking, thank God he doesn't have that big bushy beard in that profile video. That's exactly what I was thinking.
I missed the beard, mate.
I was thinking about your homeless man beard. Honestly, that's what I was thinking. I'm like, thank God he's actually got a clean cut photo where he doesn't look like a homeless rummy. That's what I actually thought.
It'll be back, mate.
Complete transparency. Being honest.
So the trigger system that we've had tonight is like instant feedback as the person is interacting with you around the pre-list. So you cannot get any more valuable information than knowing when they're opening it, when they're looking at it, And if they open it again or open it 3 or 4 times, you'll be alerted every time. But most importantly, those questionnaires. So if refresh this, the questions get sent to you as an email. So 11 o'clock at night, Aaron gets alerted that they've opened it. 10 minutes later, he gets the email. It says, here's the answer to the questions. He thinks, awesome. I'm actually going out to see them at 8:30 in the morning tomorrow. So I wasn't going to have a chance to log into my system, but there's all the answers and they're actually stored in the system as well. So he's pretty now geared to go to sleep, have all these answers on his mind, wake up in the morning and, best chance in the world to win that appraisal. Would you not agree?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. So it's just about, there's this thing called ease of business, right? If it's easy, we do it. And I think we all know we should have a pre-listing kit. I think we all know all these things should happen, but we get busy being busy. We get busy selling properties, and then it's like, well, all this other stuff, I'd love to do it. I just don't have the time to do it. Well, this is removing all of that now. So that, it's easy to spin up. It's easy to send out. It's easy to see the answers because it's all literally with one login. It's on your phone. You can log into LockedOn. You can see these things. And you might say, oh, I haven't had time. Well, as you get to the property 3 or 4 minutes early, you might just open your phone there and look at the answers before you walk in the door.
Yeah, fresh on the memory.
Sure. It can be as simple as that. I just think the easier we make it for you, the more you will do it and the more it will help you grow your business. Technology is at a different place now where this is becoming easier for us to give this to you. 10 years ago, this wasn't a thing. 5 years ago, this wasn't a thing.
Oh, 2 years.
2 years ago, now it's a thing. So I guess what I'm saying is those who will embrace it will have a head start. And those who say, well, I just want to do it manually and do it with labor and, well,
good luck to you.
It's like dinosaurs. Extinction is coming. So it is what it is. So I think the quicker we can all sort of adapt. What do you think? Proposals. 2 years ago, a proposal was this big document, we'll drop it over. Now everybody's doing a digital proposal. And this is the same sort of process between, I think we're right at the tip of the iceberg here because everybody else is focused on after the presentation. We're focusing on before the presentation. And this is going to be a real point of difference.
And that was the big thing we saw, the big barrier in the market is that after is, it's being looked after. There's a lot of different subscriptions and things for it, but we wanted to do the thing that no one was doing right now and still no one's doing. This will give you the head start. And guess what? We're building the proposal system. It's going to be the best thing out there and it's going to look beautiful. Well, it's going to be inside your CRM. It's going to have alerts. It's going to look as slick as the thing you've seen, but even more components and better. So you're going to have all areas covered. The only thing you need to get super, super confident in and, excel in is your presentation. And most of you are all great people, likable. Once you get in the door, you can do your job.
Yeah. What I would say to everybody is, with the proposal system, are we, by the way, can we answer some questions now? And then we can.
Yeah, definitely. I thought we'd just finish up the webinar and finish the recording and then we'll go jump into the questions for sure. But, on an end note, guys, I'm really pumped and excited to get those new features out to our LockedOn users. For all the people that aren't LockedOn users, hopefully you've seen something here or learned something here that you can take into your business. Ideally, we'd love for you to reach out to us at LockedOn. You can go to LockedOn.com/get started. You'll be able to request a demo. I'll take you through all the other features of LockedOn. We haven't even got to show you agent sites, micro sites, articles, testimonials, blogs, advanced image editors, all our automation and triggers. There is so much to LockedOn. This is just one of the latest features that we've launched. So for all the people that are interested, please reach out to us, LockedOn.com. You can go there and hit the get started button, which will take you through that link and book a demo. Guys, I just wanted to, say thank you for being with us for the last hour to look at this pre-list system. It's been, as I said, a pleasure showing you it. I've loved the new advancements that our team have put onto it, and I hope that you all get some benefit out of those for our LockedOn users. We look forward to showing you more and more features of LockedOn Plus over the coming months. But again, we'll take some time now. Thanks, Aaron. I know you're busy and plenty of coaching sessions this year, but thanks for giving us an hour of your insights into a bit more of the sales psychology around why these features are important. And should be adapted into technology these days.
Yeah, you're welcome. And when you said, get it, this is what I would say to everybody. And there are lots of LockedOn people already on this call, great. But if you love your current CRM and it's perfect, then, just take what you can from this session. But if you think that, wouldn't it be good if your CRM could also do this, be easy to use and still do all that other stuff and be affordable, more importantly, because you don't need multiple subscriptions.
Logins.
multiple subscriptions, multiple logins. It's all done in one place. Do yourself a favor, reach out to Luke.
Yeah, half an hour
request a
demo.
When I say reach out to Luke, go to LockedOn.com, reach out to Luke, get a demo. Get a demo and let him show you how this is done. People are asking, what CRM? Richard, this is part of your CRM. This is Locked On. And does it work in New Zealand? Absolutely, it works in New Zealand. We've got clients using this already in North America, in New Zealand, and obviously a lot in Australia. So it's everything you see there. As long as you sell real estate and they have a pulse, this thing works. So,
well, yeah. So look, we'd love to do a demo. We'll stop the recording here, guys, and we'll just say thanks for your time, and then we can get into these questions. But again, guys, thanks for coming on, seeing the pre-list, and we look forward to chatting with you in the future.
Thank you, guys.